You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie? The intro's back.
Mike, you requested it last week, and I delivered. Our intro is back. Now,
Thank you. It helps me get in that zone.
It gets you in that mindset, especially for a big show tonight that we have. But let's talk a little bit real quick about me, because I actually have been bowling, and I've bowled the last 3 weekends. I've went and I've practiced for every Sunday. I take a trip over, and Mike, I've thrown the ball pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I bowled practice 300 couple of weekends ago. There was only one guy in the bowling center. He was like 90, and he was watching, so I had a pretty good crowd. I felt good again, man. I felt alive. Tripped to 4 in the first shot of the 10th, and then threw it for the cheese, ready for the cheddar for the last 2 in the practice 300 with a mask. So that was my first sanctioned mask, unsanctioned mask 300, Mike. So, shout outs to Red Rock. My guy Mike Pellegrino at the Red Rock helps me out over there. Have some good practice, and planning on bowling the Tat in February. Hopefully I come in with a $20,000 check and not get any COVID. So that'll be exciting for me to actually get back and compete again a little bit. So how's things with you, Mike? What's going on?
So how good are you throwing it?
I'm probably about like 75% right now. That's all I really need to make the TAC cut in the 40 and over. So I'm about 75%, Mike. I'm throwing it good. I got to get my equipment taken care of. I'm going to talk to our guy Bill, see if he could, send me a couple of case boxes.
No, answer's no. Answer's no. Unless I'm getting.
No, I can't even ask.
No.
Yeah, he'll be
you
like,
were sponsored and got dropped. So if anybody should get balls, it should be me first, because you already been dropped. So. Getting dropped from a bowling sponsorship in today's day and age is like, that's like getting dumped by the ugly girl, honestly.
Hey,
because everybody's got a ball deal, so you got dumped by the ugly girl, son.
I got my lineup all set though. I got my purple hammers and my Web Tour hybrids for early, and then I'm going to be going to my Roto Grip Storm for my transition for my late. So I'm getting the murderer's row of equipment out, and I'm preparing for a big amateur tournament, Mike. I'm not preparing for a, little New Jersey local tournament that you bowl. So
come on out, man. Greg Tack makes some element extra hard. Come on.
You don't want that
out,
smoke. I'll come out. I'll start. You don't want that. I'll take all your pot games away.
Come on out. I got an extra bedroom for you here. Come on out, son. Come on out.
No, I'm staying at Bill's house if I go out there, man. I heard he's got a nice pool. We got to talk to him about that.
True. Absolutely.
So what's going on with you, man? What's a good word?
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about
New Jersey getting the law passed that I know you're really happy about. You guys have gambling, and now you have
legal marijuana. Yeah, legal. I don't know. I'll reserve my comments on how I voted on that, but Jersey going green, Garden State. Not surprised. Passed resoundingly 70% to 30%. So. Interesting. I'm supposed to go.
Robert, man, what's up?
Oh, what's up, Robert? How's it going? I don't know, Rob. Things are crazy out here in New Jersey again. In terms of the COVID stuff, like cases are on the rise, and things seem to be exploding somewhat. So I don't know. Has me kind of concerned. But I had a wonderful weekend last weekend, I got to say. Friday night, I got together with some high school friends. Shout out to my guys. I got hit with an extra charge in the hotel for smoking, so that was no fun. The wife was
Shocker.
extra pissed at me. Extra pissed at me for that.
How much would they hit you with? What was the fine?
$250. $250 for that. Yeah.
That's
so
nothing for a big timer like you, man. That ain't shit for you. That's $250.
I mean,
you probably pay that cash right there.
No, they hit me on the debit card, but it's cool. So yeah, Then Saturday night, this is wild. This is connected to bowling too. I got together with some friends from college on Saturday night. Friday night was high school friends. Saturday night was college friends. These are guys that I hadn't seen in like 20 years. Shout to my guys. And Rob, one of them had nothing to do with bowling back in the day when I was at St. Peter's and I was bowling myself. But turns out that, again, haven't talked to him in many years, my guy GQ, he's actually like crazy into bowling, Rob. And he didn't even really know that I was into bowling as much as I am. So when we met up the other night, we were talking about it, and we're actually going to get together this weekend, I think, and practice. So that's cool. It might get me out of the house a little bit, get me in the bowling alley, get me throwing the ball.
People asking for Bill already. They don't want to hear our bullshit.
Yeah, this is true. He's here. Don't worry. All right. Well, we're here to celebrate tonight. No, Rob?
Well, yeah, I'm not putting him on unless I see the belt. And Bill, where's your belt? I'm not putting you on unless I see the belt. I'm not adding you to the stream.
Okay. All right.
There it is.
No, I took it away.
Let's see it. Are you not wearing it? I wear it around the house. Bill, I know your son has been wearing it, right? Did he put it on? Is he?
Yeah. No, he wore it around for days.
Okay.
I had to take it on, take it off. Daddy, clip this on. He would tell Alexa to put on whoever's entrance music he wanted to hear, and then he'd run in from the other room with the belt around him, jump around.
Approximately how much does it weigh?
I don't know. It's got to be, 8 or 10 pounds probably.
Okay.
So wait,
right.
My question about the belt is, have you learned to put it on? Because when you got it and you won, you look like you had no clue on like what to do and how to put it on.
The belt was awkward.
Yeah, because it's a really awkward thing to you're trying to process all these things that are happening at one time. Like, wow, I just won this tournament. Like, oh wow, this tournament's $100,000. Wow, and then somebody's yelling at you from the side, like, "No, pick the belt up." And I'm like, oh yeah, the belt. Where am I at? There's nobody here. There's no fans. Who's here? And then you grab the belt, and I was like, wow, this thing is not cheap. This thing is heavy. And then I was all out of sorts. I couldn't collect my thoughts quickly enough to do anything cool with it.
Yeah, so just FYI, because I know Big Mike doesn't know this, but that belt, if you were to buy it at a WWE event, is around.
Hey, Mike,
usually
hold on a second. Hey, Mike. Bang. Take that.
Okay. All right. No doubt. Good for you.
That belt is about
you.
It's about $400 to $450 if you were to buy it at a WWE event, because they sell those. So
how much?
hey, about $400 to $450 at a WWE
really?
event. Yeah, those are like replica belts they sell.
It's pretty legit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait to wear that around. I might just come in to visit Bill so I could wear it around the house and come in from another room. But I'd have to figure out what entrance music that would come out to. It'd probably be like either Stone Cold or The Rock. I don't know.
Yeah, Stone Cold got the best. I've been out of the wrestling game for a while, but Stone Cold's got the best.
So they also gave you a trophy and a check. They were giving you all kinds of shit. I was laughing. It's like this. He needed a third arm, Mike, to get all the shit they were giving him on the show. They were like, I'm surprised he didn't put a cape around him and like carry him off the show on top of it.
I should have got a cape. I would have welcomed a cape.
The cape and the belt.
The Lucha Libre mask. He could have
Yeah, they already did the cape thing for the King of Bowling, though. I mean, that was like a little bit overdone.
Yeah, dude, Norm Duke in that crown and that cape was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Him sitting there, that throne is like 3 times his size. Yeah,
he's so little, like the crown's just like sinking. He has to like hold it up like this, or else it goes over his eyes.
Oh yeah. Look like Lord Farquhar from Shrek, with the big crown.
So. Let's talk about the idea of redemption for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Because last June, 2 Junes ago, me, Bobby Kerwin, shout to him, John Zadnik, shout to him as well. We went up to Maine, took a trip up to watch you bowl the Final Four. You put on one of the best shows in PBA history on Saturday, beat Sean Rash in an absolutely crazy match. And then, and I think I can say this pretty openly now because we're here to celebrate tonight, right? So it was a disappointing ending on Sunday in that event, right? We were all disappointed. We kind of left disappointed. It definitely wasn't the way that we wanted it to end. So 2-part question for me here. Number one, what was it like to get back to that stage and be able to finish it this time? And number two, is there any regret on your end about, this taking place in the COVID environment and not because, we would have been there. It was supposed to be a Carolier actually. So I don't, you don't know if things work out the same way, maybe fate moves the bowling alley, you got a better look, whatever it is. But any regrets there about not being able to share it with the crowd, with Christy, with whoever was there? I mean,
yeah, it's not a regret. Nothing I could do about it. But it would have been way cooler to have you guys there. I know that I'm destined to never win anything in front of anybody that I care about. Except there was the one tournament, Rob, that you were there. You were there. Christy was there. Jeff Butler, and you guys were there. That was cool. So that was the only time. I think Christy was at one other event that I won, but that's it. Every time my dad's shown up, I've lost. Portland last year. It was Saturday was great, and then Sunday was a mess, and it didn't go well. And obviously I would have preferred to have it at Carolier and win in front of you guys, but check clear is just the same.
I'm still glad you got the $100,000. I'm glad fate worked out in your favor, but that would have been a hell of a celebration, man.
Oh,
really.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a hell of a celebration.
It's been my bowling dream to win something at Carolier.
Dang.
Is it safe to say that Mike is probably the legitimate big cloud? The big mush.
It's hard to say because he hasn't been to too many things. It's only been a couple of events like that. Portland, is the team event, and then also the playoffs last year. But that's really it, right? Was there any other shows you were at, Mike?
Nah, some U.S. Opens and Masters.
Oh, the U.S. Open. But shows though, just that one show.
Just a couple shows. Usually
too small of a sample size.
I gotta say, from my end, I feel that way about myself with your bowling often because it'll always work out where I'll log on to Flow Bowling and I'll catch you on the pair and it'll be your first shot. You'll have 5 in a row and then you big 4. And you look at it like it's the bowling ball or the lane, but I'm here oh geez, it's me. It's the black cloud. I black cloud.
Yeah, I'm sure you always forget the times where you log on and then I strike. It's just those. It's the ones that are bad that you're thinking about. It's only ones that register.
This is very true.
Just like trying to get sneakers. I got these sneakers today, but I'm only going to remember the losses. I'm only going to remember.
He's hyped on the sneakers, Rob.
I don't ever get them. You don't ever win.
He's trying to flex on. He's putting serious flex on these sneakers. They're nice though. They're nice.
I'm putting them on StockX tomorrow.
Are you really?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, come on, man. What do you mean?
I'm gonna put them up there for $10,000 just to be haha.
Sure. Well, listen, we got to work on getting you the package. Do you see those Sixers jersey packages that they sent out?
They're all right.
Nah, we got to work on that. We got to work on that. We got to hit up Spike. We got to hit up Spike and get some contacts in that. I'm gonna work on that for you, homie. I got you.
So, Bill, let's talk about the show itself because me and Mike were actually having a little bit of a debate before you came on. And actually, Ryan wanted to talk about your ball decisions and what you were throwing on the show. And Mike, I look like you were throwing the same radical for most of the show with the pin up. But I remember you saying maybe you were throwing 2 different balls. Can you explain your equipment choices, like what you saw your balls were doing compared to a lot of the other players that were throwing urethane for a lot of it?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Wait a second. There's one other thing that we wanted to talk about, right, Rob? In this, when you do that, can you also give us an idea of what conditions you were bowling on in the matches that you bowled? Because at home viewing, we didn't really have the background on whether it was fresh or you were bowling on burn or what the situation was. So if you give us some of the background and your thinking on the moves that you made in connection with that, that's kind of what we were discussing.
Right. Yeah, did I bowl? I don't think I bowled on the burn. Maybe I did once. I can't remember. I don't think I'm not sure.
That surprises me. I got to be honest. You usually have like a photographic memory of shit.
Nah, not really.
If you're bowling,
I don't remember because I know like the first couple matches I bowled on the fresh, and then I think I bowled on the fresh the whole time.
Dude, the tape delay was so long that he doesn't even.
I don't remember as well. But yeah, so the balls, I used the same ball in the game round of 16 against AJ and the final 4 in the final match. Which was the DV8 Intimidator. I used a radical bonus in the round of 8 against Kyle. So what I saw was, the game plan on a lot of these shows that I've been on for a while now has been the same, and I think it's contributed to some of my success. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Like the TSC show that I led, like I lost. I bowled 2-0. It didn't work out. But that's been the game plan for a lot of these shows, is to take stronger balls and use a lot of surface and be able to stay further right because it plays to my strengths. I can throw a little bit firmer. I don't have to worry about making it hook down the lane. And so that was the game plan. And so against AJ, he was using I think that ball's like a kind of a half and half urethane, maybe something like that. So, but it's a weaker ball.
Hybrid.
Yeah. And I just tried, for me, when I use those balls that are that strong, it gave me a lot of room to the right. Where, if I did overhit it, there was a couple times where I overhit it and got it to the right and they went high. But for the most part, if I just got it off my hand fine, threw it to the right, it wasn't going to go light. It might have flat 10, but it was never going to 2-8-10 or bucket. So that's how I like to bowl, because then I know I can't miss in that I can miss in that direction without it ever going light. There was one time I think I went light. It was against Kyle. Other than that, I could stay in that spot and it eliminates one side of the pocket for me. And the game against Kyle, where I used the bonus, they hooked more in the front. So that ball that was the stronger ball with the surface, the Intimidator, it was a little bit too early and it was just a little flat down the lane. But every other match, it rolled great. And I hadn't ever thrown that ball before those shows. And when we have so many balls, we have a lot of product. You rely on the guys who know a lot about that product. And for me, for this event, it was Eric Krause and Chuck Gardner, and it was those guys that put their heads together and said, "Hey, this I like the Ebonite Arrow," and I used that on the team event in the same building. And the Intimidator has, it's in the same family of cover stock, and they're like, "All right, well, this ball, similar-ish cover, but it's got a bigger core. This is going to roll better for this." For this event. And it's probably something that I would have never stumbled upon, unless you have people like that who are extremely knowledgeable. And you need that when you have 7 brands of balls that you can choose from.
So follow-up question, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we saw your first look on the playoff show, and you were going with surface, a big ball, but you were able to use your speed, right? You were throwing it pretty hard, and you were able to kind of take your hand out a little bit, play right. Now compare that to a lot of what you bowled against, right? Simo, and just you go through AJ Johnson, and then you look at a guy like a Belmo who you didn't bowl against, but they were all trying to really finesse play urethane, and I think that's because of their rev rates. Was that an advantage for you? Honestly, you were able to throw a resin and be able to stay right when everyone's trying to force a urethane on that shot.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you see that even with the guys that were hooking it. I think what I saw early on. I had the benefit of being able to stay on the sideline because I had a bye and I was able to watch a lot of the matches before I went. And so I saw guys like Chris Vi bowled a really good game and left a couple 3 10 pins, I think, even on the one lane. EJ bowled, I think he bowled before me, and he left a bunch of 10 pins and lost. So I got to see these guys go through this where they were playing left, throwing it right, and the balls looked good, but they wouldn't strike. And so I'm like, all right, well, they're better at doing that than I am, playing over there and separating their angles a lot, and they can't strike. And so for me, if I see that, I'm like, well, I don't want to have to make too perfect of a shot, and you certainly don't want to do that when you're bowling on television. You have one game and there's a lot of pressure. You want to be in the spot that makes you the most comfortable. So early on, I said, not doing it, not playing left. And urethane wasn't really too much of an option for me. It's really only certain circumstances where I can use urethane because my rev rate isn't high enough. I don't hit it hard enough. I don't make it hook enough in the front part of the lane. So it gets a little bit too long for me unless, there's only just certain circumstances where I can use it. What's that smile for? What are you going to say?
we don't want to tell that story. I don't want to be gloom and doom on.
No, it's okay. When me and Rob were in college, when Rob was good, when he could bowl more than practice game 300s, we bowled we shared a place. We had a 3-bedroom townhome, and our other buddy Matt, which I'm not sure, I can't remember why he was able to get the master bedroom in this place.
He paid more.
But I don't think either one of us got the option to pay more. There was no auction of this, no. I don't think. But anyway, Rob and I had to have the smaller of the two rooms. One room was like 20 square feet bigger.
Yeah, it wasn't even big.
And we're like, all right, well, we're going to bowl for it. So we went to Stardust Lanes in Saginaw, and we bowled the best of 7. And Rob swept me. And I think the total pins were like 7 pins. He beat me by like 1 or 2 every game.
Dude, I had an advantage too, and I'll be honest with you, because I bowled league there, and I had about a year or two bowling in that bowling alley before Bill even stepped foot in. And that was the first time Bill ever bowled there. So Bill was just flat 10ing at any time he needed to strike in the 10th. And I was sitting there laughing because I'm just able to hammer on it and strike. But yeah, I had an advantage. There's no way I could beat Bill. I could sweep Bill right now. I'd be lucky to get like 5
in college. You could. Oh, here's Matt.
He's here to correct the record. He came in to correct the record here. We appreciate
look
that.
Look at it. Yeah, thanks for the picture there. That's like Mike on Facebook.
No, I have
that actually might have been you, Mike. That might be you.
No, I have a picture. It's just my wife's. That's all. Just my wife's picture.
Dude, I can't believe Matt brought that up. That's a great story too. That's a whole nother story we don't want to talk about.
College professor got nothing better to do than sit around at 8:30.
Am I wrong though? Like, I know, Rob, that there was a year that I was kind of aware of that Bill lived with you guys, but he actually ended up like not ever living with you guys. Like,
that's what this comment was.
Yeah,
that's what that comment was about.
There's a couple different stories wrapped into that comment that you just made.
I hear. There was a lot of mystery.
I moved out kind of in the middle of the night once, and they just kind of walked up the stairs, and my room was empty.
To figure out what was going on.
Yeah. There was a time. It doesn't matter. Listen, it wasn't great, and I moved. I left. I still paid the bills, I think.
You did.
Yeah. And then there was a time like a year later where the reason why I moved out that the first time is also the reason why I had to move back in with Rob our senior year at college, and I had to sleep on a couch for like 3 months. So
here's the important thing though. Unlike some other people that we know, nobody took a shit in your bed. Right? No one took a shit in your bed.
I got it out of there. Right. They couldn't.
I'm saying that either when you moved out or they moved out, there was no defecating in anyone's bed. So, we may have heard some stories about that
Mike,
one time.
It's so funny because I was the reason why he moved out in the first place, because I introduced him to his girlfriend at the time. And then I was the reason why he ended up living on my couch a year later because of the same girl, because he broke up. So now he's on my couch. But let me tell you, when Bill was on our couch, we had such a blast because one, Chappelle's show was always on our TV for 3 months. It re-looped. Literally, Chappelle re-looped for 3 months, and it was a blast. Really, like we had a good time. So
now it's all on Netflix. So
now it's all on Netflix. And Mike, I'll be honest with you. I'm probably the only person probably in the country that could say that I've had Bill live on my couch, and Belmonte has also stayed on my couch. So I've had
Pretty
a
impressive.
couple of major winners, future Hall of Famers, sleeping on my couch, Mike. My couch is very.
Your couch should perhaps be like a stop for young bowlers along their journey. No,
I'm
like
good.
you know,
I'm good.
Well,
I'm not going down.
the only problem with that is Rob moves like every 6 months, so no one's really they're not going to know where he is at any one time to be able to stay with him. They're going to need to put a tracker on him.
You could also look at it like equal access. You know, he does a little East Coast, does a little Midwest, does a little West Coast, shares it for everybody. Yeah. But you know, like you bowl JBTs, you bowl high school, you bowl college, you bowl some amateur stuff, junior Olympic gold, and then you go to Rob's couch.
Okay.
You stay on Rob's couch, and then you continue your career from there.
Listen, start, like advertising that. Put it on Facebook.
Well, Bill, you're welcome.
That's a great
comment.
That's a great comment given our context here.
You're welcome to stay on my couch for the Masters at the end of March in Vegas. So
where do you live? Where are you?
I'm in Vegas right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you moved to California.
No, not yet. I'm temporarily on a COVID stay in Vegas for right now. I'm actually.
And then you're going to California.
Maybe. Yes,
we'll
see.
At a point to be determined, I think.
But you just work from home? Do you have a?
Yeah, I'm just working from home. I actually work. Yeah, I work from. I work for my mom's. I live in my mom's. It's free rent and.
So Mike, Rob's busy. He's really busy.
Always.
He's busy. He's super busy.
Busiest guy.
Busiest
guy, son.
So busy.
Okay, let's talk about Bill. This is Bill's moment. Let's get off of Mike. Let's get off of me right now.
Exponentially busier than you and I, son. Okay.
Now listen, you have an excuse to be busy. I'm not busy.
No.
I can be tired. I can be exhausted, but I'm not busy.
Let's talk about this. Rob and I have beef with your Fox intro.
Yeah, we don't like your intro.
Oh, why? Because it mentions Prater.
Bullshit.
Yeah. There's so much better things they could have done.
Yeah, you're above the level. No disrespect to Chris Prater. Dude is a beast. We got much respect for his game, and one day down the road, he may be considered in the same conversation with a Hall of Famer like Bill O'Neill. But at the current time, honestly, it's not as much of a rivalry as they're making it out to be. Maybe of late, but overall though, not really. So we had beef with that. What do you think about it?
I didn't really think twice about it. I didn't. I mean, listen. I think he has 3 titles, and he beat me on all of them. So I mean, it's fair. I mean, they might all been for the title, but two of them were no.
But did he beat you for a bigger room?
But you have 4 times as many titles. So
look, here's the thing:
whatever. It is a rivalry of some sort. We bowl each other a lot. We're on TV shows together a lot.
And I'll brag for you 4 times as many titles. So okay, yeah.
Look, here's my problem is, I feel like they could have went a different route with your intro. Talk about like your Philly upbringing, like talk about I don't know, the city of brotherly love. Me and Mike could come up with a better intro. I'd kind of like to do it if I had more time.
We're working on it.
Listen, I'm used to it. Whatever I win, it's always something else. I'm always used to the other thing. Well, I beat EJ, and it was I got lucky in the Phil ball. I won this past tournament. I got lucky against Kyle. So I don't get credit. It's fine. There's no worries.
Over here,
yeah,
you get credit over here. So.
That's why I come on this show.
Okay,
we need a better.
As Lucas was saying in the chat, don't get mad at us because we got love for our people, Lucas. Don't get mad at us. That's how we roll. That's how we are around here. That's how we.
Dude, what do you mean? Lucas is the biggest fanboy. Lucas is the PBA fanboy.
Lucas and the Flow Bowling Jason Belmonte network. Okay.
All
right, Lucas.
Hey, listen. You know what? Let me say this. I'm looking forward to the documentary. I am. I'm looking. Joe Pelusic with a cameo appearance.
Okay. The funniest part about the whole thing, forget everything, was the fact that I can't imagine this was not on purpose. That him saying I don't drink the Kool-Aid while drinking the Kool-Aid. That was on purpose, right? Like that's so obviously backwards and stupid that it had to be done ironically, correct?
Yes. listen, we go back right there, and there was a old man humor, right? Is what we used to say about him. Like always a very dated personality there. So I wasn't surprised to see that. Yeah. So listen, the intros were good though in general. No, the intros
They
were
needed
Yeah,
more of
it's a cool part of the
yeah,
show for sure.
they
I
were.
liked them.
They
I think they
absolutely were.
needed more of them. I got tired of watching the same intros over and over again. They should have filmed multiple intros and had some different variety of them. Honestly,
Under the gun, time constraint wise, like
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Going
know who's going to
forward,
win. You don't know who's going to have.
Right.
You're going to film 4 intros for every person. You
Right.
know, 4 different unique intros for each person, and for most of them, you're only going to use one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got tired of listening to Bill being
satisfy
second
Rob.
fiddle to Prather. I got tired of listening to you being second fiddle to Prather. That's the only thing I remember about. It's like how many times could I see him losing to Prather? Like it just,
True.
But the intros were good though. I did like them. There was definitely I just wasn't a fan of yours honestly. And Stu Williams is definitely looking to get blocked after making comments like that. He's.
See, yeah. When you read the first word, I feel like I thought he was going to be coming at Mike and I, but really he's coming to you, which is actually I'm pro that.
I mean, hey, look, like
I'm from Philly. I'm not a big Rocky guy though.
I'm not really a Rocky guy. I mean, they're fine, but Rob is like.
Yeah, I tend to find that most Philly people are not like real hardcore Rocky people. Like. Yeah, it's cool. We got the statue, whatever, the steps. Everybody likes to run up the steps at the art museum, but
I did that.
Yeah,
Phil was there.
I could take his photos.
I mean, I'm from there. I don't know many hardcore people like that. All right, so Lucas Wiseman's going to lose his shit in a minute here because I want to talk about this topic. And listen, before we even talk about it, I'm going to say you all know our boy here. He's going to be humble and play it down. So I'm here to boast and promote, and that's my role here, okay? And Lucas is going to be pissy at me in the chat, and that's okay. He can be. That's fine. We're all entitled to our opinions, even if they're shitty or wrong. Let's talk about Player of the Year. I feel like a strong case could be made that you deserve the players' votes for Player of the Year. And let me say this, first of all, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I can't look up any stats. Do you want to know why? Because the PBA website, once you go past the first page, nothing works. So we'll talk about that later. But here's what I got. Here's what I dug up. Tell me if I'm wrong, okay? You won the Players' Championship. That was 100. That was 70,000. Yes?
75.
75. You finished
Big
second.
money.
You finished second in the TOC. That was 50,000. Yes?
Yep.
You won the PBA playoffs. That was 100K.
Damn, Philip.
Okay.
Philip?
All right. You have 2 titles this year. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. One is a major, and the other is the most valuable tournament of the year, the PBA playoffs. Yes?
Monetarily, yeah.
Okay. Belmo, let's talk about it for a second. He won the U.S. Open. It's an amazing accomplishment. Great, but it's 30,000.
We're gonna poo the U.S. Open. Go ahead.
30 grand. All right.
He's gonna shit on the U.S. Open here. I love it because of the money.
It's a limited field too. Okay.
Yeah, limited to the best bowlers in the world. What do you mean limited to what? So because you couldn't bowl with not validated?
No, I mean I thought that you had to have an invitation basically to bowl in the U.S. Open. Do you not?
Yeah, but who was missing?
Dude, where's Mike's invitation? Why isn't he getting an invite?
I mean,
there's 144 people there.
I bet you Barstool Call got an invite.
How many more people? Yeah. How many more people do you need at the U.S. Open besides 144?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, people. Stop cutting me off. I'm getting there. All right.
You do to everyone else. Gonna taste your medicine.
Just like in real life. Stop reading the comments.
Belmo won the Chameleon Championship. Okay, that's title number 2 for him. He also won the World Championship that, if people don't remember, was back in March when COVID hit. The PBA finished the World Championship but did not complete the World Series of Bowling. Okay. 100K was the prize there, but it went up to 150 because the PBA added money. Okay.
But first of all, I expect chiming in here. I expect out of courtesy that Stu votes for me for Player of the Year.
Some of these people in the chat are going to get personally contacted by me after this shit is over. So
Stu should be voting for me simply because it's funny. And Stu's a man of humor, and he likes things that are funny. And simply, if I win, that's funny.
Oh, see, so Bill doesn't think he's got
funny? Like, listen, 2 titles, 1 major, 3 titles.
It's funny because Lucas and the Jason Belmonte streaming network would be angry, and it would make Lucas angry, and that's funny to me.
Dude, the Belmonte streaming network. Oh my God! So, realistically, Bill, you don't think you have a chance?
Am I wrong? Because I want to see my boy win Player of the Year. Come on, I'm going to make that argument. All right.
I mean, if you're looking at it just at I have 2 titles. He has 3, and 2 of his are majors. I mean, if you're just looking at it like that, but it's not as much of a blowout as people make it seem. We're talking like, yeah, they're titles, but it's 1 match, right? If 1 match goes different for either of us, then I'm looked at as the clear-cut winner, right? If Simonson beats him in the U.S. Open, or if did EJ lose to him if those things happen, then maybe I'm, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that's that crazy, and maybe I will get a few votes out of Belmo fatigue, but probably he probably deserves it. Yeah. Listen, it's not gonna like hurt my feelings or anything. Like, I would love to win the Player of the Year, and I would love to win it as someone who gets done the year, and we don't even have to have this conversation, and you're already congratulating me before the award is even announced. That's why I would. And now top 10s matter. Oh, jeez.
Top 10s matter, so do money.
Is it just winning majors, or is it top 10?
They don't even know.
What are we doing?
I said the same thing. So
they don't even know. So let me ask you, Bill. That's
the goalpost moves so much, I get it off the screen.
Now, the Player of the Year. That's one thing that you haven't won in your career.
Yeah.
Is that something where, I don't know, whenever you decide to retire or gonna have, is that the one thing that you're gonna like? You feel like it's been eluding your career. You're so close right now, really. So I mean, what are your thing? Maybe we just have to like hope Belmo retires, because one-handed Player of the Year, that's a good award. So I guess my question, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously something that I want to win. It's the, besides winning all the majors or.
Who am I?
Sorry,
wait, but Mike was the Skip Bayless. Mike has been Skip Bayless too a bunch of times.
I don't even care if that's accurate. It's just funny. It would be the thing that would be the last thing for me to add to the trophy case for sure. I mean, obviously winning, the other 3 majors that I haven't won would be up there as well. But I mean, if to be perfectly honest, I never would have ever dreamed that this would have been my career. So like, if I retired tomorrow, I'd be happy. I'd be happy as hell. I mean, it would be, so it would be just like an icing on the cake thing, and not something that would keep me up at night. And, the Hall of Fame means more to me than the 1 year. So,
mention, honestly, that like somebody said, one-handed Player of the Year. And I got to say, I think there's also something to be said for that you are competing in an environment where a lot of one-handed players are finding it hard to stay at the top of the professional side of the game. And not only have you stayed there, but you've kind of rebuilt things and excelled even more than you had before. So to me, there's really something to be said for that. Like, I'm not going to go as far as to say that, a one-handed player who competes in a Player of the Year race should be given extra credit of some kind. But I do find it impressive. If I was a player who was voting and I knew the environment out there and how hard it was for one-handed players to stay at the top, compared to their two-handed counterparts, I would personally look at that as an accomplishment in and of itself. So I feel like it's an accomplishment.
I'm proud of myself for that. I don't need a trophy. I don't need an award for it. I certainly wouldn't ask for it, but it's something that I can definitely be proud of and say, look, instead of just, there's a lot of guys who they get into a mode where it's just, they just complain about everything, and they're complaining about their cross, and they're complaining about following this guy, and they bowled on the end pair 3 times, and they do all this stuff, and it's all nonsense. And like, they get wrapped up in all that. And I tried to look at it the other way and say, look, I can win out here again, and I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And I figured it out. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well said.
What did Jeff say? I was.
Yeah. Sorry, because I think that's a good question. Because I personally don't feel like you really need to improve on anything. I feel like you're right there right now.
Honestly, I think it goes back to what he said before. Like if certain breaks go certain ways, things can be much different. And honestly, there's probably other years in your career, Bill, that if we looked at them and we said, well, if you would have won here instead of finishing second, or perhaps things go a little bit differently, maybe you would have made a stronger run at Player of the Year previously. So I understand that point of it. But I mean, Jeff, like, how much more, and we're speaking personally here, right? I'm not attacking you, Jeff, in any way, but I feel like we're having a conversation amongst friends. But really, like, what more do you expect him to do? Like, to me, he kind of reinvented himself already.
It's a fair question. I mean, is that like, what would be the next step? How would I do it? And no, there wouldn't be anything I would need to improve on. Like, I say this all the time, but there's only 2 types of really successful bowlers, and it's people who have a really distinct A game, and they're really good at their A game, and they capitalize a lot when that A game is there, and they win a lot. And those are generally the people that win Player of the Years, because they're going to be able to capitalize on those things more, a la Belmo, Walter Ray, Norm. These guys have really distinct, defined A games that when they can catch a run, they can win a lot. And someone like me, who's more of like jack of all trades guy, master of none, it's harder to amass those kind of titles in a stretch. And so, like, that's just and I realized that a long time ago. So I had to develop my game to do a lot more things to kind of keep myself competitive for a year instead of like short bursts. So, if just things would just happen to fall differently. And like you said, it's different year to year. I mean, you had years like, Rash won. His year, he had one major that was his only title, right? And so, like, I've had those years too, and it's just a matter of there's a lot of circumstance.
What else happens that goes with everybody else, and
exactly.
How things shake out with everyone.
If like you have, if a guy wins one title, if a bunch of guys are winning majors and they only win one, right? They have those years. Like, Belmo just happens to be winning 2 or 3 majors every year. It's like you're caught in that storm. It's hard to win. It's hard to win Player of the Year.
All right, so I just want to announce that Philadelphia area, all my people, Philadelphia area, all my Bill O'Neill fans, Sunday morning, I am having a Bill O'Neill for Player of the Year car parade. Okay, I'll have car flags for us all right, just like my Trump people. And,
car flags are canceled now, bro.
It's gonna start.
They're going to campfire.
It's gonna start at the Oxford Valley Mall, and we're gonna take it from Route 1, all right, all the way down to Steve Steaks in Philadelphia, on the boulevard.
Are you gonna stop at Steve Steaks on Old Lincoln Highway first?
No,
because that's closer. Right, you go there and then go down to the one in the Northeast.
No, we're going right to the one in the Northeast.
You can hit them both.
No, we're going to the real one. We're going.
You can have a whiz wit at the one by me, and then you can have an American wit. Yeah.
I hope it's not too crowded because Barstool's been doing it. You know, Barstool's stealing all my shit. They steal bowling from me. They steal cheesesteaks from me. These bastards. Barstool bastards. Rob, Bill, what do you want to ask about the 100K, Rob? We got to ask him about the 100K before he goes.
Okay, so my first question that I was going to ask was there going to be a hot tub paired with your pool? Found out there is already a hot tub that got. Okay, so now we have $100,000, right? Like, Bill, what are we doing here? Come on, like, don't give me the whole like you're going to invest it or you're going to save it. What are you doing? You got to be doing something good, right? Like,
hold on, don't answer yet. Can we take a guess? Can we give a suggestion, Rob?
I just bought sneakers at the beginning of the show.
Come on,
100K.
Here's what I'm going to suggest, Rob. So Belmo has the Tesla. He's got like the Tesla coupe. Okay.
Oh, Belmo's got a Tesla, huh? Big money.
Yeah, he does. He has the Tesla coupe. I'm going to suggest that Bill goes out and gets the Tesla SUV. Okay, and then puts lots of pictures on social media of his Tesla in the snow with snow-covered branches behind it and his Tesla charging. So that's my suggestion. Rob, what's your suggestion?
I feel like Bill needs to take a crazy guys trip out to Vegas and pay for a bunch of bottles and a suite and, invite some of his close guy friends and, let's do like a 3-night, like,
he's married with kids, son.
So what does that mean? I do it every year with a bunch of our friends. Bill knows all the friends that I go with, and they're all married, but as long as you clear with the wife like 6 months in advance, you just say, hey, like, oh, he's going to Disney World. Probably. I could probably see that more realistically than him going to Vegas.
I hate Disney World. I'm not going to Disney World.
He hates, but your kids won't.
I'm gonna beat it into him that Disney World sucks and we're not going.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at Bill's that he taking his kids to Disney World.
No, I'm not taking him to Disney World.
All right, so now tell us realistically, what are you really doing? Because it's probably a much more boring answer than what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like Chris Prather's answer.
You guys want me to blow it?
Yeah, Chris Prather's answer.
I'm not living in a Kanye song. Okay, this is my life.
Let's hear it. What do you do?
PJ's going to be a really happy guy.
He'll probably get some of it. Well, us and my brother and sister-in-law are building a vacation home.
Oh, look at this! This is the new pool.
Listen,
this is the new pool. We got to hear about this vacation home.
So I told Rob that before you even came on, Bill, like before you even in backstage with us, and I told him. Rob's like, "Oh, well, maybe we'll get a spa for the pool." I said he's already got the spa. I'm like, in fact, him and his brother and sister-in-law, they're building a mountain house together. And Rob was like, "Oh shit, really? Are they?" I said, "Yeah. Well, I don't know if like he wants to put it out there. We definitely shouldn't put it out there, but." Yeah, okay, no doubt. Put it out
vacation
there.
home. So
put it out. I mean, pool, really,
I know.
Like Poland,
Where's it at?
It's like 2 hours north of where we are. It's got a private golf course. Right? It's not mountainous like Mike. When I told him he's like, "Yo, the mountains. You're not a mountain person. You're not an outdoors guy." I'm like, I'm not out living under the trees and like surviving off the leaves.
We're Four Seasons.
It's like a resort kind of. It's a gigantic place, but it's got an 18-hole private golf course on it. A couple lakes, pools. Everything for you, Rob, to be comfortable, right?
I don't golf. Inevitably, cart. You know what I'm saying?
Inevitably, when Rob's eventually going to get tired of Vegas and he's going to get tired of California, and he's going to want another change, and he's going to be like, "Well, how's your Wi-Fi in the mountains? Like, can I come up and live in the mountains for like 6 months? Can I do that? Because he's going to need a place. He's always going to need a place to stay."
I would grow a big beard. I would get rid of my phone. I would live off the land, Bill. I would live off the land. And land meaning the golf course.
Yeah,
the land meaning the golf course every day.
It's a half an acre. It's not like we didn't buy like 20 acres of property that we're maintaining, and we're not Belmo.
The best golfer on tour is EJ Tackett, is it not?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, okay. I think Ronnie tries to claim it, but it's EJ.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
No, don't go golfing with Bill though. Bill's a pretty good golfer. He'll take all your money. He's low key good.
I ain't golfing. I'm driving the car and drinking.
I play twice a year now. That's it.
Still though, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Bill says that, and then he gets on the course and he's good for at least an 85.
And let me tell you something. You play.
I play the same every time I play.
You play twice a year, and if you called Rob and said, "Hey, let's go golf," he would tell you, "I'm too busy.
Too busy.
I'm too busy.
I'm never too busy to play. I'll never be too busy to play golf, Bill.
Too many guys.
Yeah, no.
So it must just be. I guess what he's saying is it's just me. Is that what he's saying? I mean, is that how I'm supposed to take that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you want to go live because you have some beef on Twitter, is when I get too busy.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What do you want to ask me? What do you?
Wait, no, yeah. So Mike, married, 2 children, a job as now he's doing during teaching during a pandemic, which is super time consuming. Yet has enough time to argue with multiple people on multiple platforms all day. Is really something. So if you break down all his arguments on Twitter, he goes after all the people who post stuff about the teaching profession. He scours the comments of like NJ.com to see if people are shitting on teaching, so he can quote tweet them. And he's going after Barstool Carl. He's got a beef. He's got a beef with this zombie Belmo account. That's 3. That's just on Twitter. Then you go to Facebook, where he's commenting under his wife's name.
He can't have his own Facebook. He can't have his own Facebook.
No, and he's on Facebook, and it's he'll text me. You won't believe the argument I got into in the local Facebook group in my county, my township. I'm like, how do you even find these things? Who goes on? What kind of normal person is even on their like township, county Facebook group to argue about like the swing set at the local playground where the bolts are rusty? Who does this?
I like to stay informed. I'm sorry, I like to stay informed.
You don't like to stay informed. You like to stir shit. It's different. It's way different.
All right, we'll end there. Yo, homie, congrats on the $100,000. We got to get together and celebrate at some point in the near future here. Huge win.
Don't forget the lucky number 13 title, man. People, Big Mike loves the money check, but I look at the title. Like that's.
Well, Rob, for you, I was able to get past the 11.
You were. Today is 11-11. Today is 11-11 in case you didn't realize it.
I didn't.
So yeah, that's a whole nother situation I'm not getting into, but we've had some really bad strings on the roulette wheel trying to bet on the number 11, and it never. The only time it'll ever hit. It's the only time it'll ever hit when Bill pulls his money off.
And then Dave, your brother hit it. Dave hit it.
Yeah. But congrats on lucky number 13. I'm sure we'll be talking more. Bill, how many titles are you going to finish your career with? How many titles? Give us a number.
No, I'm not going to tell you, because I do have a goal that I set for myself like 5 years ago, and I'm pretty close.
You're pretty close to it.
Yeah, pretty close.
15. 15's the
Rob,
number.
I was going to ask, what's the over under?
But it's a major number as well.
What's
15.
I would say over under would be.
Majors is hard.
I don't know, man. You have
you
have a lot of years left, though. Like you're not even 40 yet. You look at somebody like
in good
Barnes.
Shape, man. Bill works out at that old people, the geriatric gym, dude.
Not anymore. Nah, man. That's closed. COVID wrecked that place.
Yeah, can you imagine all the old people didn't want to go work out?
Nah.
Yeah, but no. Listen, you look at somebody like Barnes, who just turned 50, and he's still competing on the Young Guys Tour and doing okay. The only concern I have is that the game seems to be trending in a younger, more two-handed, aggressive style of play. And I don't know if like you're going to get that same 10-year run that somebody like Barnes has had, or maybe a Tommy Jones has had.
Tell Norm Duke that. That.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the game has always been built on uniqueness, and so if you can be uniquely good, if everybody's doing one thing and somebody else is over here doing another, and they're doing it well, they can have success.
And before we leave, we have to promote Bill. Talk to Hammer. If EJ got a 10-year deal, we want Bill to have an 11-year deal. This is Bill's turning.
Can we get a Bill O'Neill bowling ball too? Can we get a Bill? Belmo's got all these bowling balls. Can we get some Bill O'Neill signature bowling balls?
We need an 11-year deal. I mean, come on, like Motive hooking EJ up, Storm's hooking. We want a Bill O'Neill ball and an 11-year deal. Hammer, Brunswick. We'll take it. I'll take it up the.
I'm not going to settle for anything
I'll get
less.
Mike on Twitter.
If they offer me 8 years tomorrow, I'm not taking it. Take me all the way to 50,
11.
all the way to senior tour.
We want an 11-year deal, and if not, we're going to get their Twitter accounts, and we're going to sick Big Mike on them to get those deals.
Yep, he'll be tweeting them under his protected tweet account. No one will be able to see it, but he'll be doing
Zombie
it.
Belmo ain't retweeting me anymore. Come out from behind the burner, and then you
Yeah, you wouldn't
can
want anybody-
retweet me.
You wouldn't want
Okay.
all his followers
Yeah,
checking out your
but we-
tweets.
Yeah,
we need to get Bill a big. We need to get Bill a big ball deal. This is it. Like we
True.
got to talk. And also, I was trying to get him verified on Twitter, but since COVID happened, Twitter shut down the Twitter verification system. I don't know if you knew that, Bill.
Look at Chuck.
I like
They did
Chuck.
it. They did that a long time ago.
I
like
know.
that.
So like, we can't get Bill even verified
Sorry.
on Twitter.
I'm on it.
The kid can't even get a blue check next to his name.
I got emails out. I got it. I'm on it. I don't know if
Good.
it'll happen, but I'm on it. I've checked.
All
it.
right, we need that. We need a ball deal. We need a Bill ball, and we need a Twitter verification. We're on
Keep
it, Bill. We got it.
All right.
Keep us updated. Keep us in the loop. All right, homie.
Yeah.
We appreciate the time.
All right, fellas.
Tell everybody we said hello. We'll get together soon.
Absolutely.
All
All right,
right,
Bill.
later.
Hey.
Rob, always good to have our guy on. You know,
Yeah, we need a Bill
we
Ball.
always go long when it's a Bill O'Neill interview. No
I
question.
know we always do because it's always fun. Like it's just us bantering back and forth. It's pretty much
True.
how. If we were sitting in like your basement, like hanging out, it's pretty much what our conversation would sound
Yeah, and
like.
really, it's cause for celebration. Like $100,000 win is a huge win. I know. You like to make fun of me about my, the weight that I give to the money, but we've talked about it at length, Rob. Like these guys are out there bowling for a living, and money matters. So winning a big event means you're living a better life for you and your family. You're doing better for them. So, yeah, awesome win. Especially like we talked about with the redemption side of it. With finishing second last year and feeling like he didn't really bowl his best. So awesome to see him come through and finish that out. So, Rob, we got some other stuff to cover here before we get out of here.
We got about 10, 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so
we'll go a little bit long.
We kind of talked about it at the end of the interview there. Let's talk about the EJ Tackett contract. Can we talk about that? You want to speculate, Rob? You want to
Sure.
We love us some speculation over here. We love some speculation. So let's speculate. 10 years, right?
10 years.
There was some conversation on Twitter with Phil Brylow. Shout out to Phil Brylow, where he was kind of talking about the Barnes deal, right? That went down.
It wasn't. Okay, I'm going to say right off the bat that it wasn't, because if it was, Motive would have put the amount out. If it was $1 million deal for EJ, they would have made that publicly known, like Barnes did when he signed. Okay, so that's how I know instantly that it's under $1 million. It's under. Okay.
Okay.
Now
I set the over under, Rob, and I said 700,000.
Well, that's where
exactly
that's my
okay. All right.
My assumption.
And it's interesting to me because Rob, we didn't talk about this at all off the air, right? This is the first time you and I are discussing this at all.
It is.
So when I said 700,000, here's what I kind of felt like. I already have a sort of a ballpark idea of what some of the ball contracts are like.
Right. Me too.
Right. So when I say 700,000, I was thinking, okay, well, it's 10 years down the road. So those salary years have to be higher just because of cost of living, inflation, et cetera. So that number is going to be is going to be somewhat higher. And you figure in the contract, you're going to make more every time a couple years go by. So I figured we're probably starting on the 60,000 end in the early part of the contract, and then towards the end of the contract, maybe towards the middle, like year 5, year 6, you're probably getting into that 70,000 range. So if you put it at 700, the over under, I'm going to take the under on that, Rob.
Right.
I'm going to take the under because I think the first few years are going to be under. You got to average at 70,000, right, for 10 years.
What about incentives?
So I think the first few years are going to be under that, and the later years are probably going to be around that or a little bit over it.
So how's the incentives look? Because I know there's some ball companies that will give straight salary, right, yearly. But the ball incentives, like when they make a show and they use a specific ball, they'll give higher salaries and they won't give incentives like to the pros that are using the bowling balls. Now, I know Storm is a company where they're really higher on their incentive deal when they make shows, and they'll give better checks for the pros that are making the shows using the bowling balls. I was just right around your area, about 750,000 for the 10 years. maybe that's comes out to about 75,000 a year, give or take. Now, does that include incentives? Is there a is there a commission, let's just say, on top of the 75,000 salary if he makes a show, or is it just straight salary and they expect him to do bowling ball clinics, and they do the like, what is that, the World Bowling, wherever or what is that, the convention that's every year, like the bowl
the
bowl
BPAA
expo,
convention,
right?
Bowl Expo,
And all that. They'll usually give them like all expenses paid. They'll pay all their expenses out there, but they don't really make any really money doing that. That's part of their contract. So I'm right around with you, Mike. I'm around 750,000 for the 10 years. But if it was $1 million, they would have said it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they would have said it.
Brian is asking, are the pro staffers employees of the companies, or is this 1099 stuff? Brian, to my knowledge, it's 1099. I don't think they're employees. They're like subcontractors.
No. Like, I know the ones, the people that I know that are on staff, they get benefits and medical insurance, and they have definitely full-time like employee contracts. The 1099s are usually like the amateurs contracts, and maybe some regional contracts are 1099. But anybody that's making usually a year's salary or any kind of income monthly is usually on some kind of full-time benefits package with it's like working for Ebonite or working for Motive. Like, you're able to get a benefits package too. But
I'll say I've heard differently there. I've definitely heard differently there.
It's different companies based on what company. Like, I think Ebonite before Brunswick, Ebonite had their staffers on like a full-time, like medical benefits package. But like, if you ask Stu, who's in the comments right now, who's saying in 1099, so Roto-Grip and Storm could be doing it differently. Different companies like working.
Rob, I'm getting word. I'm getting word from somebody outside the show that people feel that we might be a little bit low. People are feeling like we set the over under a little bit low at 700,000 there, and that it's probably the over there. So listen, that I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is why we should get the numbers. This is why they should put the numbers out there. It's a measuring stick for who the players are. Because listen, are you telling me that if EJ Tackett got a contract number, and all the contract numbers were out there, if EJ Tackett got a contract number that was higher than Belmo, you don't think Belmo's going to want to go back to Storm and say, yeah, I'm going to need to redo my contract and get a higher number than him? I want to see that type of shit in bowling. I want to see that.
Sports. Yeah, that's what makes sports, right? Like, you pay a running back, the highest running back in the league. Guess what? The best running back's going to want to have. He's going to want to be paid like the best running back in the league. I feel like they should put that They should put out what they're paying the staff people. And I mean, could you imagine if you're someone like Bill, just giving an example, and you look around and you see like there are 10 pros that are getting paid better than you? I mean, you're a top, three, top
I said it before.
Pro out there.
I think that's part of the reason why the ball companies themselves don't want the numbers out there.
No,
because that would be the case. You'd have guys saying, "How the hell am I making less than this guy who I totally out?" It would almost be like every year you'd kind of have to redo the ball contracts because people would want more or less, or people would want more based on where they finished or what they feel like their standing is.
Well, yeah, that's the reason behind it, Jimmy, is the bowling companies don't want to put it out.
No, to me, I mean, we've asked Bill about that. We've had that argument with him previously. I think what I remember him saying is that it's because they're independent contractors, and like, it's an independent contract. It's not the same as a sports contract. It would be the same as like a sports sponsorship deal with an apparel company or something of that nature, right? Where those get reported in sports, but only because they're blockbuster deals, right? So. Yeah, that would be dope, Lucas. That would be very dope, right? Like who's really making the most money on tour for a year? We all know the answer to that, I think.
This is important, Lucas, and you should be able to do that, and it's important for the younger bowlers out there, the college bowlers, the regional bowlers, even high school bowlers. Lucas, if they're able to see that earnings, salaries, incentives, and winnings, then they could realize, well, maybe you could actually make a living on tour, and if you're a top 10 or a top 15, and you could actually like maybe persuade, your parents, let's just say, like, hey, like there is some good money out there, but you don't know. So it's just like it's a crapshoot. Like that would be awesome for the sport in general, like that, to grow the professional bowling, so people know what's going on out there. If the numbers are low, then people and the kids look at that, they're like, I don't want to do that. Like I want to make some money. I'll become a gamer. I'll be an e-gamer.
All right, Rob, you ready to wrap it up or what? I mean, there's a lot we didn't get to tonight.
Yeah,
we wanted to get to the majors that were announced, right? U.S. Open and Masters were announced for next year. We'll put that off for next week.
Put that off next
week. We wanted to talk about the PBA Clash, right? That was announced this week.
It's going to air the 29th, so we'll have some weeks to talk about that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next week as well. Yeah, listen, my final thought, Rob, is the PBA website sucks. Cole, to me, honestly, it's a reflection of the fraud that Coley Edison is, because she went on Beef and Barnsley's show and promoted that new website, had them bring it up on the show, okay? And all you got to do is scratch the surface just a little bit, and nothing works on it. I go there earlier today, to try and get some statistics down to have a conversation about Player of the Year. I wanted to look up average. I wanted to look up number of match play appearances, etc. Nothing. Can't find any of it. So, like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't present something to us as the fans as like a finished product or something that you're touting in a proud way, when all you got to do is click once or twice and nothing's really there. So I was frustrated by that. I apologize for my little rant there.
My final thoughts, Mike, is I want to send a sincere thank you and to all the veterans out there. Today is Veterans Day, 11/11. We all know that's my holiday as well. I'm not a veteran, but the number 11 has always been with me. So I wanted just to send a really thank you out there to all the men and women of the armed forces who have served and are serving. Because we're a free country, and we're able to say what we want on a podcast like this and talk all kinds of shit about anybody we want because of those men and women. So sincere thank you out there to them. And if you do know any people that have served, I'm sure everybody does, thank them and let them know like that you appreciate everything that they've done. So
yeah, no doubt. Numerous veterans in my immediate family that got texts today, including my dad, who's not with us anymore, but he was a vet as well, Vietnam vet. So yeah, no doubt. I second those thoughts, Rob.
Mike, scary times back then, Mike, going to war back then compared to what they're doing now. They're risking their lives. But dude, back then when your dad was going to Vietnam, man, that was a whole nother ball game. Like,
it was wild.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy
honestly,
shit.
like I have some like military documents that describe some of the bigger battles that he was involved in and stuff. And yeah, it's wild to even read it. It's like surreal to imagine being in that environment. So, I have a lot of respect for people who take that route as well. So, like I said, one of my brothers is a vet, my cousin's a vet, numerous people in my family. So, yeah, definitely second those sentiments. And we'll catch everybody next week, Rob. Bowling's kind of going to be off, right, for a little bit, but we'll still be here. We got some stuff lined up for the people. We're working on some things for you guys behind the scenes to keep things interesting, even when the PBA isn't rocking and rolling. But Rob, what a great way for us to wrap up the PBA season today on this show with our boy getting to come on and celebrate a 100K victory. So shout to Bill again, man. Proud of you, homie. Congrats. Happy for you, and we'll catch everybody next week.
All right. Peace, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob